game security and customer service, right? We make some sacrifices sometimes for game integrity. We all know that in today's day and age, cell phones could be used as a cheating device. We don't ban those because they just wouldn't work for players. We allow headphones, which we also know can be used as a cheating device. We use sunglasses. We allow sunglasses, despite knowing full well that we can buy sunglasses online for $50 to $100 that are able to see marked cards and daub and use to cheat. We allow these things because we're thinking about the customer first. So we make these sacrifices. So we know that there's evidence that we do this in other areas. Obviously, I know that some of the players have talked a little bit about the first card off the deck rule. This is another one of those types of things. The question is, the man wearing sunglasses using daub to cheat, the person using headphones getting an RFID to cheat, are we really focusing on the guy who runs around the table really fast to look at players' cards to see whether or not they can get an advantage? Like the real cheaters, I know that Matt Glantz, we were just talking about this, been playing 20 years. All the angle cheaters and cheaters I've known in 20 years, they don't use that method. They're going to use a lot of other methods that we're totally okay with, right? But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. What I want to talk about in general is, again, back to the role of a TD tournament director and some of the ticky-tacky penalties that we implement in situations that I believe wholeheartedly we should have much more of a warning system in place first. I'll give you two quick examples. One is an amateur player who's playing Omaha. It's sometimes a complicated game. He flops 2 pair, he's in last position, there's some bets or whatever, the river card's a flush, check to him, he checks. He says 2 pair, doesn't even realize he has the nut flush. Well, the rule says if you check the nuts in position, you get a penalty. So not only is this player penalized by the fact that he's lost value, and he's made a mistake, he's actually going to get a 1-round penalty. That's just seems silly. The other one that comes up sometimes as well is the player bets the flop, doesn't see that someone called, wants to show the table his cards. He shows his hand, right? Just to show the table. And now, if you're not a poker player, you understand, but it's very difficult to win when someone can see your hole cards. So he's already penalized himself by showing the cards, right? Now, on top of that, and I've seen this over and over, consistently, this player who made this mistake, and of course I understand that it's the player's responsibility not to make these mistakes, but a player who makes this mistake, typically an amateur, is now not only penalized by the fact he has to play his hand face up, he's also getting a 1-round penalty in addition to that. So, the way I'm looking at it is this. When you approach a situation where you're thinking there's a penalty that should be assessed, approach it this way. How can I justify not giving this person a penalty? How can I justify saying, this person probably wasn't cheating, we'll give this player one warning, and we'll let him know, if this happens again, you will get a penalty. There are going to be some egregious situations where someone absolutely deserves a penalty on first go. But far too often in tournaments that I've seen across the world, especially in Europe on the European Poker Tour events, they're by far the worst perpetrators of this. Penalties are given rampantly for situations that are not breaching the integrity of the game. They're simple player errors. Aside with that, the whole first card off the deck rule, we talk about balancing game integrity and customer service. As tournament directors, we would think that we want to avoid, at all costs, killing a customer's hand. A businessman who takes a phone call, walks away from the table because he knows he's not allowed to speak on his phone, speak on the phone at the table, turns back in his big blind, first card's dealt, and his hand's dead. What we really want to do is kill the least amount of hands, right? We're in the customer service industry, right? So I ask, before this rule was implemented, how many of your customers were complaining about the last card off the deck rule? How many of them were complaining? How many do you believe would complain if you use the last card off the deck rule? I've never heard one. I've been playing 20 years, and I know all the other players have as well. So, in line with the idea that we're in the customer service industry, is this really the issue? The first card off the deck, last card off the deck rule? Is this the one that is the bone that breaks the camel's back, that is so important to you that you really believe all the cheaters in the game are using this tactic to walk behind players? Do you really, really, truly believe that? And if not, why not think about what the players want? The vast majority. Dan O'Brien, of course, did a poll amongst amateur players during the Millionaire Maker and the main event. It's not even close when you talk to those that tour the professionals and stuff like that. It wouldn't even be close to a 3-to-1 favorite. So, really, is this the stand? Is this the one issue that is so beholden to you, that you care so much about, in terms of game integrity, you're willing to sacrifice customer service and what the players want, that you stand in that position. And that's all I've got.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't get off the stage. Okay, here's the part I don't understand. You